Hello, everyone. Welcome to this webinar from TopStep. My name is Ron Bro. I'm the CEO. Today, we're going to cover the top 5 OpenAir release items. So thanks for joining, and we'll get started. So what we'll cover today is we're going to focus on what we consider the 5 highlights of this last release. Those are redesigned advanced filters, project center enhancements, user license tracking, NetSuite support for custom filters or custom flows, and some scripting center enhancements. The goal of today is for us to help answer the questions, will this feature impact me, and how will this feature benefit my organization? And are there any limitations or considerations? So with regards to the redesigned advanced filters, there were 2 items that came out of this last release. One was ability around a new way to save, and another way is a new way to rename. So we'll take a deeper look at those. Previously, in order to, after you hit apply when creating a new filter, you had to save, you could save the changes by clicking the caret next to the filter, and then you could do a save or save as. They've kind of got this a little more streamlined now. So now when you hit apply, the caret is there at the apply button, so you can pop that up and save that without having to go to a separate place in the system. So just a little bit of a UI improvement there. And then also renaming changed a bit as well. Before you could rename an existing filter, and then now you had to save it and then create a new one. Now there's a rename option that you can now rename it without having to create a new one and delete the old search. So will this impact me? It will if you turn it on, and it is a switch in that we would need to enable. You would need that request to be enabled. Again, it's a small win for user-friendlier design and gives you a quicker access to saved searches and filters. Project Center enhancements. So we're seeing a lot of investment by OpenAir in this Project Center feature, and this release was primarily based around Project Center enhancements. So we'll try to highlight those. The biggest one for me and my clients is the ability to look at this either on a weekly or a monthly basis. And we've got a lot of clients that don't schedule and manage their resources at a weekly level, but looking more at a monthly level, and therefore the Project Center really was unusable. Now it's for those customers, there is an option. And so it's being able to look at the month and be able to put hours in month over month is a great addition to the Project Center. It's just like going into the worksheet, putting in a month or a week is going to spread the hours between the start and the end of the period. So that's the same in the Project Center as it is in the worksheet. So if I go in and I schedule a resource in month, April, May, June, when I go look at the bookings in the booking module, I will see those same monthly bookings for each month. So however many months in the Project Center will equate to the number of bookings per resource in the booking database. A couple of gotchas we ran into in our testing, which is not unexpected, but wanted to highlight them. If you say put in a resource for 20 hours a week and in the Project Center, and then you flip it to a monthly view, it's going to take those 20 hours and it's going to convert them to monthly. So you're going to get, instead of 20 hours a week, you're going to get 20 hours over the month, which is going to give you a lot of decimals because it's spreading those 20 over. So we really do recommend not pivoting between either you're going to use it on a weekly basis or you're going to use it on a monthly basis. It really doesn't work for being able to pivot it back and forth. So just to avoid that situation and try to stay consistent with how you use that feature. A couple of other enhancements now. It'll roll up the booked hours at a phase level and also at a project level. So you can see across the project is if you're booking to a task here, we can see the bookings at a task level, we can see the bookings at a phase level, and then ultimately at a project level. And there's some more options in the drop down where you have the list options. You can see booking grid totals. You can enable or disable those project level or phase level subtotals in the booking in the list options. You can now also display actuals. So this is a pretty cool concept here of being able to toggle actuals on or off. And again, that works for both weekly and monthly setting, but it'll show basically a read-only version of what the timesheets were for previous periods in the project center. The actuals are using all hours. So the timesheet status, it doesn't matter. As soon as time is entered and saved, it's basically worked hours showing per task, per resource. There also now is a capability of being able to display ETC and EAC using the booking data. And so the ETC, which is estimate to complete, can show down to the task phase and for the entire project, the total hours booked, and in that project till the end of the bookings. And so that will kind of give you that estimate to complete. The EAC will pick up the estimate to complete plus the actuals for previous periods, and then you can enable those views. So giving you kind of where we think we're going to be based on our bookings within project views is a nice add-on to this project center. It does require that you're visibly showing the actuals in the project center for those calculations to work. Also, they've improved some of the scrolling. Previously, if you had a large project with lots of task-based bookings, the scrolling was a little cumbersome. So they've improved that part of it as well. So now the scrolling you can get down throughout the entire project. Slight usability enhancement. If you're looking at resources in the project center, you can kind of quickly see if it's a licensed user versus a generic user by the resource type icon. So you have two different icons now denoting the type of user that is being planned in the system. Also, this is kind of cool. If you click on the date that you want to just change the date of when you want to see, you have the ability to now have a calendar pop up, and you can actually pick dates within the calendar, but you can also use these shortcuts to go change your period. So if you're wanting to change, you've got a multi-month project and you want to look towards the start of the project, the end of the project, or any particular period, they've made it a lot easier to be able to determine those dates by just clicking in the date field, and this calendar will pop up and give you those options. So how will this impact everyone? Well, first off, you have to have the Project Center feature enabled. So if you don't see it in your system, it is a switch you'll need to request from support in order to have it, and then it is visible within your projects. And then you'll get all of the enhancements from this last release, as well as all the enhancements from previous releases. Being able to use it now in a monthly instead of only weekly, to me, opens up this feature to a lot of clients that aren't interested in managing week over week. So that's a nice enhancement. Being able to see the viewed hours in the past or months, weeks or months, and assess your performance without having to leave the project center. So you don't have to run a report. You can actually see where you are, the hours you've spent, that planned hours, your EAC, your ETC, which is really nice without having to navigate outside the project. You can distinguish better your start and end dates from the calculated end dates. You can drop one of the Project Center features is you can have the project centers drive your end dates within your project tasks. So using the latest start and the the earliest start and latest end can drive the dates within your project plan. And then being able to view the scheduled hours at the task level, also rolling that up to a phase, rolling that up to a project gives you quick validation of the accuracy of your bookings and the planned effort you have. So again, what are some of the benefits? Increased visibility, faster bookings, so you're not having to leave and go into the worksheet or go into the other modules, resource module options. You can do this right. It's really OpenAir's version of trying to merge task assignments with bookings and trying to get a more streamlined user experience for project managers. Couple of considerations. You can turn on the project center and you can control the visibility at the role level. So there is a role permission that becomes available. We also enable OpenAir where there's certain booking types that are not visible, or certain users might not be able to edit a booking but view only. And so you can actually see read-only data in the project center for those bookings. And again, it does require the project center feature to be enabled through OpenAir support. User license. So we get this question a lot, like, are we compliant? How many users can we create? Do we need to order more users? And there wasn't an easy way to do that. You could create a user and see what's left to be created, but you didn't know if you were being compliant or so forth. So they've entered this new feature under the administration account. There's now a license link. And if you click that, it will tell you how many licenses you are licensed for, how many of those are T&E versus full, and then what you are using, and tell you if you're being compliant or not. So this is kind of a mystery that is being revealed as part of this feature. And this is automatically being enabled and pushed out to all customers without being a switch. A couple of NetSuite connectors. So if you are using OpenAir and NetSuite and you have the standard OpenAir NetSuite integration configured, they've done a few enhancements on the update project. So previously, the only way to control the update project was to be able to say update projects in this stage. There was a checkbox on the stage that this integration would, but you couldn't, even within that stage, you couldn't further filter on which projects. Now they can. They've added a custom filter, so you can say only, maybe only sync customers with NetSuite IDs as an example, or something to that effect. So it's a way to be able to control the number of projects and which projects get updated. And then also, if you are creating task workflows, you can now also add filters as well to those. And so this is what this looks like. So this is a custom workflow that takes data from NetSuite to OpenAir. So in this example, we've come up with a way to be able to take like classifications in NetSuite, convert them to custom records, and then we build a custom workflow from NetSuite to OpenAir to bring those custom records into OpenAir. And there's a feature that basically simplifies that process, allows you to define the columns, define the filters in there, and be able to create those records a little simpler than the old way, which is still available. So will this impact me? Well, if you're currently filtering the project integration, you can benefit from this custom by further allowing a further level of filter capabilities. You can still use the project stage filter as well. Just gives you a little bit easier control of what's being updated, and which records, cases, projects, tasks are being updated by the integration. The user scripting center. So a couple of quick enhancements there. We've been begging for better logs. And so if you are building scripts and you're troubleshooting scripts when in the logs, it can be a challenge. Now they've much simplified and added additional information to the logs, which would include an internal ID of the log, so we can truly see what the latest log is and being able to identify the internal ID, and also being able to see who made changes, what changes were made. And so those new values are really helpful for our team, especially as they're troubleshooting customers in scripting. So my technical team was very excited about this enhancement. So just a couple of other items in case you didn't know. If you're using an integration or using Integration Manager to regularly import or export data, you're going to need to update the URL that's being used to make sure it is the custom URL now that you see when you log into OpenAir and you see it in your browser URL. So the www.openair.com was been deprecated. It'll have to be replaced with the more custom, which include your company name and the OpenAir ID. So you'll have to update those integrations. We've been busy with a couple of customers that have been preparing for this end of support for QuickBooks. So there's an old Integration Manager QuickBooks feature that allows you to connect OpenAir and QuickBooks Desktop that was being end of support. And we've been working on helping customers migrate to other financial systems and to replace QuickBooks. And then a few releases ago, they came up with this self-service SAML. Prior to that, you had to send data to NetSuite, and NetSuite had to go in and put that data in your environment and then let you know when it's done. So it was very inefficient. So this self-service is now much more efficient. IT departments can load their own data into OpenAir and to enact the SAML capabilities. And that's going to be coming. They requested the self-service be enabled because they're going to basically deprecate the old way June of this year. A couple of bonus call outs. New currencies are now supported. So a couple of new ones there if you run into those. They've updated the OpenAir Mobile for 4.4 for iOS and Android. And they also added a new way to be able to get to the release notes as well as share release notes. Those topics are now in the OpenAir help system. There's a share button. If you point to the share button to view the help topic, you can click copy into a link, and then you can share that with your users in your environment. So just a little bit easier way to be able to get to the OpenAir release details and help data and be able to share that within your organization. So in summary, we work with customers on releases. We're happy to work with you guys if you're not working with us already, but we'll help prepare for what the release impact will be. We test thoroughly the releases, and so that we make sure we understand how they work and if there's any, what the benefit is and any gotchas we need to be calling out. And then once you are done your testing and preparation, you'll definitely want to communicate or train your users for new features, especially like a Project Center, which is a completely new feature that will require some training and communication with your users. So it's not something that you just want to go turn on because you're going to get a lot of confused project managers. So just make sure you are ready for that. One other note here, we want to hear from you. So we are looking for communications, be on the lookout for communications from the Top Step marketing team. We're looking for feedback on the April 2023 release. And if you respond to our emails, you might get yourself some Top Step swag. So in the coming weeks, keep a lookout for emails from our marketing team. Please respond. We are trying to capture that information. We share all that information back with OpenAir's product folks. And so anything you can share would be greatly appreciated, and we're happy to reward you for sharing. So we appreciate the relationship and the continued support of Top Step. Again, so thank you very much for joining today. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.